When you work in second person, either the you or the we, isn't there a tendency to blunt the characterization? I mean, actually, when you're always throwing the point of view back onto the reader almost. I don't know if that's exactly what happens, but it's sort of that confrontational or aggressive sort of approach. It seems that it throws it away from the ability to develop a character in the same way that you would in first or third person, in which you can expand and bring in feelings other than that the reader is having at the moment, or you're demanding of the reader at the moment.
Well, let's distinguish between the first person plural, which is we, and the second person, which is you. So the first person plural usually intentionally creates a general narrator who is like a Greek chorus, really, I think. And, you know, it's jarring if you're someone who reads a lot of fiction, and you usually will have to get used to that new voice. But to take the second person, you know, I was actually just talking to, I'm teaching right now at Brooklyn College, and a student was attempting a second person narrative just to see whether he could accomplish this. And I thought about the novel, an autobiographical novel that was published some years ago by Oriana Fallaci called A Man. And it's told entirely addressing the main character, you, which a character based on a lover of hers who was a Greek insurgent and ended up was a political prisoner in Greece for many years and was tortured. And she describes all that he goes through in a very vivid way, and he is a very, very vivid character. Why did she choose to tell it in that voice? Because it doubles as a love story, as a lament, so that the author is mourning the fate of that character and eulogizing him, and also expressing rage at the choices that he made that separated them. And that book, you know, I haven't read it in probably 30 years since it came out, but it's a very, very powerful book. And I would say it's instructive for any writer who wants to take a whack at that kind of a point of view.
Terrific. Could you repeat that, Ken, for us, the book and the author?
It's called A Man, and the author was the actually political journalist Oriana Fallaci. Terrific. And I believe that, yeah, I think it's published as a novel, not as a memoir.
Great. Before we close out, I'd like to know what you've got coming up. What's the next novel, and what's it about, and what can we expect?
Well, my next novel is being published a year from now. It's done, and it's in the pipeline. It is tentatively entitled And the Dark Sacred Night, which is actually a piece of a lyric from that beautiful song we've all heard that Louis Armstrong sings, Louis Armstrong, What a Wonderful World. And it's a story about a 42-year-old man who's in a stagnant period in his life. He's married with twins, but he has been denied tenure at his college where he taught art history, and he's trying to get traction again in life. And his wife believes that the one thing holding him back is that he has never known the identity of his biological father. He was raised by a mother who had him when she was 17, you know, out of wedlock in the 1960s, and she has refused to let on who his father was. So it's a quest novel. You know, two things happened to me when I was ready to write a new book. I thought, you know, I would like to write a quest novel where the main character goes in search of one specific thing. And of course, on the way, many other things transpire. But I also felt I wanted to revisit a secondary character in my novel, 3 Junes. And that character was the mother of the music critic, Malachi Burns, who dies of AIDS in the novel. And I loved that character. I wanted to write from her point of view. So she's very important to this novel. And somehow, inevitably, actually, Fenno McLeod, the main character in 3 Junes, also comes back in this book toward the end of the book. So it revisits some characters that readers of mine may be fond of and has completely new characters as well. And is, of course, a family story.
We'll look forward to that. That's just terrific. Could you also just, before I close out, tell us your teaching opportunities that listeners might be able to take advantage of in the near future, and how we can access your teaching?
Well, this will be my 9th summer teaching at the Fine Arts Work Center and in Provincetown, Massachusetts. I'm going to be teaching, my workshop's a little different from when you took it, Bill. The emphasis this year is going to be on creating strong beginnings, whether you're writing a story or a novel. And my course is the third week in July this year. Now, it may already be full, I don't know. I really wish I could teach for more than 1 week there, but everybody gets to teach for 1 week there. The website is fawc.org or fawc.org. At the moment, I've had a great time teaching for a semester at Brooklyn College, but that was a one-time thing. So I do have a public Facebook page that my publisher keeps up, which is author Julia Glass. It's facebook.com/author Julia Glass. And I will certainly post any teaching opportunities that come up on that Facebook page.
That's just fine. It's been a real pleasure being with you again, and we just don't do this often enough, and I always learn so much. So I just hope we can make these sessions maybe a routine in the future. It's been that enjoyable for me anyway. I'd like to thank all those who are listening for listening to us. Again, this is an interview with Julia Glass, and I'm William H. Coles. Thanks again for joining us.
It was a pleasure, Bill. Thank you.